around the corner. Good to see you, as
Hello.
always.
Hi, Kate.
Every
Nice to see
Thursday.
you.
Did you hear what Mr. Rickman was talking about?
No, because I was unconscious.
I think he was waving money around.
Good.
He's offering a reward.
Well, let me go back there and work out something then. Okay?
Offering a reward to find out who defaced that mural on 95 that's been
Well, that's a
capturing all
good
this
point, because
attention.
one of the things I wanted to talk about is they should start making graffiti, vandalism on public spaces like that retaining wall along 95, a felony. All these things are treated as misdemeanors. This is an assault on the public. It encourages crime, it demoralizes the public, it's bad for business, it scares people away. If you go into a city or town where there's a lot of graffiti, that gives the creeps to people.
It does.
It's a menace. It's a menace.
And as Ray was saying,
yeah.
people know who the criminal is. He goes, it is
Yeah.
known out there. This person has talked. They're out there bragging.
Yeah.
I'll have to look back and see just how much he is offering. And
I love that. I think also the police should get the pictures of these people out all over the place. But I'm not kidding. These things are treated. These assaults on public sense of security, public aesthetics, public morale are always punished with misdemeanor charges. These should be felonies. These people should spend jail time. They should also be forced to clean it up.
Make it a
When they
little
can.
more
A little
of a
elbow grease.
deterrent, absolutely.
like
So
that, yeah.
do the crime, do the time.
Right.
What else do you have
Death
in your...
penalty might be appropriate, but we'll talk about that later. Another big thing going on is the Amazon hiring bonanza down at Fall River and
Yes.
various other places around the country. People are lining up because Amazon says they're going to hire about 50,000 people. Well, I hope these people do get these jobs, and I hope they last for a while, but they won't last very long because Amazon is hard at work finding robots to do a lot of that work, so these jobs will disappear. The other thing that people tend to forget about, all these jobs being offered by Amazon, 50,000, that's a fraction of the jobs being destroyed by Amazon. In the retail outlets around America, the downtowns that they're hollowing out. And I mean, people love Amazon, so they love the convenience of it. But it reminds me of H.L. Mencken's line about democracy. Democracy is the theory in which the public gets what it wants, good and hard. And that's what they're getting with Amazon.
So there's a lot of folks lauding them for obviously having jobs.
The
So
lineup, you see the line, the queues of people desperate.
if you've got the scales of
Yeah.
justice out, you are
Yeah.
not on the side of Amazon here.
No, I think, again, the public likes the convenience of it. And I think, as I wrote in one of my blusterings a couple of weeks ago, it's very, very convenient, especially because the sort of vicious circle that Amazon has started makes it more and more difficult to find things in the stores. I can't find anything that fits me. I don't like to buy clothes, but I've been told by the police I must start wearing clothes. Okay, no more of this nudity. So I go over to Macy's or something, and they don't have my size.
The Amazon conundrum, and speaking
Yeah.
of things that the public wants and the public looks to, one of the things you wrote about in your column this past week, the NFL's issue,
Yeah.
what we're finding out
Concussions.
now with concussions, with the
yeah.
study that just came out of Boston, you had a lot to say about that. I mean,
Yeah.
the players are bigger, faster, stronger, and they're finding out in all of these brains that they looked at that there is a level of damage.
Almost all of them have some damage in this scientific sample they did. Tom Brady, I believe, will have some problems in a few years. His wife mentioned last year with some controversy that he had
Concussions.
And more than one.
Will this change anything?
Well, I think it will tend to change things at the lower levels, at high school and college, even Big Ten college games. There, I think you may not have college football in 10 years because of these medical effects, because there's no way they can invent a helmet that's going to really protect these people, at least a helmet you could wear and play football. I think professional football is so popular, it's so lucrative, so sort of politically influential. I think it'd be very difficult to do anything about that, even though most of the people, serious players and long-term players in the NFL will have brain damage.
Do you think it'll deter folks, as you said, maybe at that lower level from kids entering the game?
Yes, I think it's already happening, at least anecdotally.
Do you see
parents
parents
are saying, I don't want you to
steering
go
them,
to
yeah.
football, steering you to play soccer or something, even though soccer, of course, you have some damage too. I think a big problem with the NFL in particular in high school and college, less so, is the sadism element. One reason people love to watch football is they like the skill, the athleticism. They also, the sadistic aspect of watching somebody get whomped.
Big hits.
People love it, yeah.
Yeah.
Hockey is, of course, big on this thing too. And I don't think you can underplay the profitability of sadism. I'm planning to get into it myself.
Do you think it's just an irrational choice for a young person, because let's be honest,
I do.
they're playing at the middle and high school levels, to get into a sport? As you said, it's lucrative, it's
Very
sadistic.
lucrative. And
you
it's
know, they want to
exciting
go.
when you're a star, they worship you.
Yeah.
You can run for senator from Oklahoma. Yeah.
But now we know of the repercussions. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll continue to see this as we see more scientific research coming out, and then, of course, look to see what happens at the local and
Oh, absolutely.
NFL levels.
Also, the other thing that's happening, football players get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes.
You know, these tackles weigh about 300 pounds. It's hard to believe that I had a great uncle who was a very good college football player for Princeton University who was as big as me. And I ate big, as you probably can tell. I used to be bigger, but then all the surgery and everything, but never, anyway. So anyway, I think that's, yeah, I think the NFL will go on. I think lower level, I think maybe we won't have football in 10 years,
Well,
as we play it now anyway.
we'll continue to keep an eye on that moving forward.
Yeah.
As always, writing about politics, writing about sports. You mentioned a book, you mentioned a couple of kind of beach reads you have going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And let's talk about wicked Victorian Boston.
Yeah, it's about depravity in Boston. And, you know, the thing about Boston's no more depraved than any other city, but they've always taken, at least since Puritan times,
A little holier than thou
yeah,
approach.
a little bit of holier than thou, you know, straight back rectitude and all that. And they were sort of doubled down in this when the Catholic Church became the dominant religious thing. They were against the sex and all this stuff too. But of course it goes on in Boston as it does any other city. The hypocrisy element is great fun. People love to read about hypocrisy.
That they do.
You know that great expression where you went to college up in that area. Banned in Boston back when they used to ban pornographic and what they said was pornographic and obscene literature.
Yes.
You know, that was also great for sales outside of Boston.
So
Publishers used to seek that out to try to get banned in Boston.
So did you learn anything so far in this wicked
No,
Victorian
no,
Boston, or
because
is
of
it
course
just a
I
fun
participated
read?
in most of those things, so it's kind of
Are
redundant.
you in the
for me.
index?
That's
Can we
right.
find,
I'm
can
in
we
the
find
index.
Robert
That's right.
Whitcomb?
And some of it I thought was pretty banal. I mean, a clergyman having, adulterous relations with parishioners, so what else is new? Yeah.
Some of it was a little pedestrian from what
Yeah,
you know.
right.
So what are you writing about next week?
Well, what am I writing about? I'm writing about Amazon, we've talked about. There's also an interesting project proposed for around the State House to put a big transit center up there and maybe some commercial stuff. And a lot of people think that would be terrible because we'll obscure the view of the glorious State House, Charles McKim's. No, it's one of the great public
Yes,
buildings
the
in the West
lawns
Hemisphere.
and the view. What's your
And so
thought
it's
on
more in
this?
the way of a question. I thought my friend Deming Sherman, who's against that development, kind of raised this point. Can this be put underground? Or can any of this be put underground? But can it be put underground in such a way you'd actually want to go into it? Unlike Penn Station, which as you know is underground, is like, it's like the catacombs. It's
Yes.
claustrophobia heaven. So is there some way you could put the transit center underground, kind of at the bottom of the hill there, along with some commercial stuff too, without interrupting the site, what's the word, the site-scape or something, the view, as you're looking up toward the state.
Have folks talked about this, or are you kind of throwing your hat in
I'm
the
kind
ring
of throwing
here?
it at my hat. I plan to design it. That's why.
Bob Whitcomb, architects.
Years training. But I think that Deming Sherman and other people do raise a very good point. You're looking up at that hill, of the public, if you will. You don't want to interrupt
Sully
that
it
too
with
much.
the-
Yeah. And could you architecturally and engineering standpoint put stuff underground in an affordable way? I'm not sure. You put
Well-
anything underground, it costs you more money.
Well, as you said, you're going to toss it out there. You still
Right.
any more notes as we?
Yeah,
finish up here?
okay. Affirmative action. Affirmative action, as you know, the president has a program out to seek out and I guess kill affirmative action for white people in college admissions. All I can say is I think it's better if you just leave this to the colleges to make their decision as they're putting together their classes.
Yes.
I think a lot of that's based on the idea that whites are very put upon, and that black people and Hispanics have all kinds of advantages. So I've put forward a thought experiment. If you're a white person, if you had the opportunity instead to have been born a black person, would you like that? Would you prefer to be an African American or a white person?
You're gonna pose that in your column this
Yeah,
weekend?
I do. Yeah,
Always
I do that.
thought-provoking,
Yeah.
always talking about politics and environment and architecture.
And rabbits.
And
Thanks for your additional data on the rabbit.
the update on the rabbits.
I'll bring some recipes next year.
Bob Whitcomb, we'll see you next
Okay,
Thursday.
see you later.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Robert Whitcomb, GoLocal columnist, writes over the weekends. You can read it on Sunday on GoLocal. Comes in